Thank you everyone for joining us. As you know, my name is Dr. P. Welcome to Natural and Integrated Medicine. As you know, most of you, that I not just do natural medicine or osteopathy. Later on, most of you will see these things coming out. Starting with some of the videos that I want to post online, that is on my YouTube channel, is how to make nut milk. Nut milk. Now, you can choose whichever nut you want or prefer, but most of the nuts that can use to make milk are not just every nut, unless you want to do that. But the nut milk we'll be making this evening is we will be doing at least 3 or 4 different nut milk. I will not change the difference when it comes down to the spices that is put into it. But I just want to talk to you a little bit about nuts before we get into that. For example, in the blender here, which is just a little bit more than blended, we have almonds. Now these almonds are very good to make milk. It looks white, which I do like. And at the same time, we're going to make some cashew nut milk. And then we will be doing coconut milk. Coconut. And then we'll be doing tiger nut milk. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I put almonds first because almonds are generally a kind of a funny nut when you're using it to make milk. The reason being for that, most people use sweeteners, which I do myself. But when you're using sweetener to make it to put into milk when you're making it, especially from nuts, you oftentimes have to be a little bit careful how you apply your sweetener. Now, one of the best sweetener to use is maple syrup. It's the best one to use. Now, I am using honey because I don't have the luxury of maple syrup too much from where we are. And therefore, we'll be using some spices in it as well. But before I even talk about the spices, let's talk about almonds and honey. It is not the best thing to use as a sweetener in the almond milk. That is because honey, for example, which we do have honey, it have diastase and also it have invertase in it. Those are 2 enzymes. Now, it is a catalyst. Now, when it comes down to almonds on the other side, almonds have lipase and also isooctranitrile. Isooctranitrile is another kind of enzyme you have to call NHL, and also lyase, which is and also lipase. These enzymes do not combine too much, and they don't do well when you put it with honey due to the invertase that is in the honey and the hydroxynitrile that is in the almonds. Now, you have to be very careful when you're mixing it because what it will do is it can make you feel upset. Your stomach gets quite upset stomach. You won't have diarrhea or something like that, but you will vomit for sure. Now, let's get on with it. Now, what we're going to use as spices in our milk, and as I said, I'm not going to change most of the spices. I'll keep it the same way, just for most of you not to get too confused, right? You want to know to make nut milk, and then I'm changing the spices around, then you have to go and start taking too much notes. I'm working with about 3 or 4 spices. One, I'm using nutmeg. And the next thing I'm using is, I'm using cinnamon. Then I am going to use the star anise, which is the powder star anise. Now you can use the star itself and put it inside the blender, which I will do even with the powder. You can put it in here and then whip it. It comes out just nicely. Also, I'm going to use a little bit of cardamom. Now this one don't have a strong smell to it. So I will tell you, and I will also use the anise seeds as well. A little bit of salt, and believe me, it's very interesting and it's very important that you use a little bit of salt to the milk. We'll talk about how much salt you can use to the amount of milk you're making. Why do you need to use salt? Well, you don't really need, you can make it optional. Some of these things can be optional, but I will tell you what, if you don't put the salt, oftentimes you will end up over sweetening. Too much sweet, too much honey, whatever you're using. If you're using, some people use agave and all that, we're not using that, but I would prefer to use, as I said, maple syrup. It brings up the sweetness or the maple syrup out of it. It does that. The next thing you need to know too as well, it is best to soak your nuts even overnight. Why? It brings out the flavor out of the nuts. And at the same time, It also helps for the nuts to be smoother because they are softer, and it also brings up the nutrient. It does other things too. I'm not going to get into too much of that because you want to learn how to make nut milk. And believe me, my intention is to start making 4 milks right now. I'll be doing one after the other, show you how to do it, you will see how it's done, and then at the same time we will have the opportunity to taste and drink it. Unfortunately, for those of you who are in Canada, US, England, and you're watching, I'm sorry, you have to go and learn to make it yourself, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you how to do it. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to use at least 4 cups of water. So I will tell you, you can do 4 to 1. So 1 cup of almonds, 4 cups of water. You can do the same thing with the rest of them. You can go 1 cup of cashew to 4 cups of water. Or you can do 4 to 6. Sorry, 1 to 6. So 1 cup of cashew, you can do 6 cups of water. It's the same thing. You don't have to be so exact and think that that will make it precise. No, there are no exact here. You don't have to. But what I'm going to do is, most people strain the milk. Now I do if I'm giving it to someone to drink. Now in some case, depends on which of the nut I prefer to have it strained. So the almonds, for example, carry a lot of roughage, which is the fiber in it. If I'm using it to make porridge, then I will not strain it. I will just make the milk and then dump it in the porridge and then mix it in. It tastes just good. If we are going to drink the milk as if you put it into a glass and drink it, then I would suggest that you strain it, because some people can't take that roughage in their mouth. They would rather to have something smooth going down. So here we go. 1 nutmeg. And this is the cinnamon. I'm not going to put a lot of it. I'm going to put just a little bit. So you could put about half a teaspoon if you want. Again, you don't need to be perfect. There's no such thing as that. It has to be perfect. Now, this is the star anise. So I'm going to put at least a teaspoon of it. In fact, you don't even need to put any more. You could just do that alone. And if you want, you can put the star, you can put the seeds as well. So you can put 1 teaspoon. And then cardamom, I was just gonna judge it. You can put a teaspoon too, but you can use and put, you can go at least half a teaspoon, about that. We just use that for it. Now, as for the salt, half a teaspoon. And then your water. It may look like that, but when you start to blend it, it's irrelevant. Now, I'm going to use a little bit more water than that. A little bit more. A little bit more. So you can add another cup, which will make it about 5 cups. You can even add more water. As I said, you could do 6 cups. I kind of want it to be strong. Now, I am going to strain it off, but I just wanted to get a good little understanding of how I'm doing this. Those of you who have the bag, you could just put it in the bag and then you could wring it out. I am not using a bag at this time. I do use the bags, but I don't really use it tonight and right now. What we're using is cotton kerchiefs, right? New. You can get them new and you use them, cotton kerchiefs. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strain it off. And then when I'm straining it, I prefer to make sure that the kerchief is sitting into something like a strainer. You know what this is, right? Why? Because when the milk goes in, it smells extremely nice. So you pour it in. You can see why I put this here, like it has like a strainer, which it is a form of that. You don't have the cotton kerchief sitting inside the bowl, inside the liquid that has been strained through the kerchief. So you want to hold it like this, as you all know, and then you turn it. one of the things we need to tell everybody is that before they start doing this, they need to wash their hands. Now, many people are showing how to make almond milk. They don't even talk about that, but I will tell you that you need to know that because that's definitely necessary. I don't think even I had to mention it. Now, look, the reason why I said that we actually strain it is because as you can see inside the kerchief, the amount of roughage. So some people just can't drink it like that. So that's why we do it smooth for those who want to drink it. But if I was going to make it into porridge, I would put it in there just like that. I would turn it out in there. So, but that's not what I'm doing right now. I am making it that it could both use in the porridge if you're going to use it. So you can see, yeah, you can see what it looks like. See, it looks real. That's real milk. Well, I'm sure not cow's milk, not breast milk, none of the two. So that's what you really want to have it look like. This is, I did it, as I said, I put a little bit more water, but this is thick and rich. And if you can add whatever sweetener you want to add to it. Some people will put sugar. We don't really use sugar. Other people will add a sweetener, which I may not use. But as I said, maple syrup, I find it to be very, very conducive to use it in it. So we can do that. Okay, so we have just came to the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Continue to watch our videos online and go to my YouTube channel. You will see all the information there because we will be posting how you can do this. Now, in the next segment, we will be doing cashew milk. Thank you very much.